I will now take you through my presentation, and it's really a short introduction, which is really just designed to let you know what are the 7 things that you really should know about automation if you're trying to keep up to pace, get a handle on what's happening in this area. And there certainly is a lot of buzz about this. So what's the first thing you need to think about? One of the first things you really need to remember is automation actually isn't that new for market research. We've actually been doing it for years. Market researchers actually have quite a long history in the area of automating things. Think of computer-assisted interviewing, whether we're talking about a caddy survey or an online survey. Those are both forms of automation of research. And long before we were doing caddy and online surveys, we were using things like punch cards to automate the entry of data. Creating templates is a really simple way of automating something, and I'm sure you all use plenty of templates every day. And hands up, who prepares code when they're running data analysis and saves that code so they can use it for future projects? Again, another source of automation. And much more recently, we've been using things like text analytics software. That is one of the first forms of automation that we've started to see in the market research space. So don't be afraid of automation. Don't think it's particularly new. Don't think it's scary. Market researchers have been using automation for years. It's not new, and it can really bring us some great benefits. Number 2, keep in mind that the impact of automation on quality can be a really positive thing. Automation will almost certainly have an impact on quality. This quality can be positive, but it also can be a negative impact. So how does automation increase quality? It can do it through error reduction, and it also often offers an improvement in overall consistency. However, that quality can also be lower. Automation, particularly when it's in its very early stages, can cause some problems where we're trying to operationalize things, develop new solutions. So remember, there's good things and there's bad things to come out of automation in terms of quality. Number 3, there's a lot of excitement around automation, but it's not always all good news. The idea of automation in NewMR is that it won't always be a good news story. What could some of the bad news be? We could be talking about lower prices and lower profits for research projects. And as we talked about in the earlier point, it could actually result in lower quality work. If we become really successful at automating things, another consequence might be that there are fewer jobs. It also might mean that there are perhaps fewer entry-level jobs, and that'll have real implications for how we develop talent in the industry. We might also see a change in the type of roles that exist in the industry, and this might lead to an oversupply in some areas of the sorts of people who currently have jobs, and it may actually mean that we end up with an undersupply of people with the right skills. Another thing to think about is what it actually costs to develop automation solutions. These costs could potentially be very high, and if your clients are expecting lower prices for automated results, it may be actually difficult to recoup some of these development costs in the short term. And let's not forget what happens to people who don't like change. Automation may not be good news for them at all. Number 4, remember the phrase, who dares wins? It's easy to see that not everybody will be better off in a more automated market research world. So it's really important to think about how you can benefit from automation and be an automation winner. Think about the skills that will become more important in research as processes become more automated. These will tend to fall into 2 areas. Those that require technical expertise, so think about things like programming, solutions development, and expertise in methodology. We need people with the right sort of skills to help design, implement, and develop automation solutions. And the second type of skills will be what we tend to call people skills. Think about consultancy skills, talking to people about what their automated research should involve. And obviously, there'll still be room for people who understand about interpretation, translation of research. It's also important to keep in mind that in a more automated market research world, non-research companies such as IT and other tech providers may be much more interested in what were traditionally market research activities. So we need to be keeping an eye on what our business is and when other people might be trying to operate in our space. Number 5, automation might result in more research being done. If we have improved efficiencies and lower cost per project based on automation, we could actually see a lot more projects being tackled, and so long as research budgets don't decline, we could actually be doing a lot more work for people with the same amount of money. And there might be some side spin-offs. We may actually be now able to tackle new and different problems. Things that we couldn't handle before may now be possible in the market research space. Number 6, AI or artificial intelligence will almost certainly provide options and solutions for market research automation. And finally, the 7th thing that you should keep in mind when you're thinking about automation and market research is that automation will actually impact both qualitative and quantitative research. When we talk about automation in market research and we bring out examples of how we're going to automate things, we often seem to be talking about quantitative research. We talk about automating analysis and reporting. Perhaps we can automate questionnaire design with expert systems. But automation won't be linked only to qualitative research. It will certainly impact on qualitative research. And in one of the sessions that follows this, Sue Bell will be bringing us her qual researcher's perspective on how automation might impact the qualitative researcher's life. So that's my 7 tips for things you should know about automation. Hopefully they will help you understand a little bit more where we might be heading and why you should be paying attention to automation. So thanks very much for listening to that. If you'd like to ask me any questions, you can do that now.